afternoon, my lovely, lovely friends and subscribers, and whoever else wants to join. It's going to be an open panel. However, I'm not sure if I'm going to put the link to StreamYards into the chat or not. Uh, Shoot, I've already been live for 5 minutes, and StreamYards is messing up again. It takes it a little bit to once you like go, it takes a little bit for people to show up. So I don't even know if this is working. So let's see. If you're in the chat, let me know if it's working because I've heard that the chat on StreamYards has been messing up. Let's go to chat. Comment settings. Chat. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm going to have to get YouTube pulled up. So hold on just a second. Oh my God. You guys, I've been muted this whole time and I've been talking, giving shout outs. Urban Disciples, Painful, what's going on? Old School for God, how are you? Good to see you. Irby Herb, yes, I didn't see that. Oh my gosh, you guys. I've been sitting here like talking to you guys. So, Clary, you were talking about cold and flu meds. So, we went to Walmart this morning. I left out an empty box at the edge of the counter so I wouldn't forget it, right? And totally forgot it. But yes, I'm getting better, thank goodness. Don't you hate when you're sick when this weather like changes and you get sick and you're like, oh, and it just lingers on and on and on and on. You're killing me, Smalls. Man, I love to have that in my intro, but sometimes it's just not fitting. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I was muted this whole time. Like probably 5 minutes worth, exactly 5 minutes worth. Hey, Cricket, Stewie, I see you. Stay Strong channel. Hello, beautiful. Clary, hey, honey. You beautiful soul, you. Red Rum, you changed your picture. Good for you. I like it. From what I can see, I like it. Mary, oh, hey, honey. I need to give you a wrench because you are just awesome. Hey, Eric Elliott. How are you? Okay, so I thought about having an open panel because, I've done a lot of live streams. A lot of my live streams over the years are on private for certain reasons. I thought about maybe making those public just so you all can kind of get an idea for the new people that are here, how I used to do my channel. I stopped doing live streams as much just because I have my reasons, not anything bad, just kind of, let's see, what's the word I need? There's a lot of uh, there's a lot of things that I talk about, and now that I'm monetized, not that I care about the monetization, but there's a lot of controversial issues that I speak about that YouTube doesn't like. So a lot of my live streams that you all would love to listen to are actually on private. But I thought about just turning the monetization off on those and making them public so that you all can listen to those because I really think that you all would really appreciate those and kind of actually, you know, learn to, I guess, maybe understand me a little more, you know? Yeah, I might do those. There's a lot of live streams with a lot of other YouTubers. We've got James Munder, which I haven't seen him in a while. I know his audio's been messed up for quite a long time. I need to help him with that. So we've got James Munder, we've got Greyhawk, we've got Mike Morales, we've got Be Rich. I think there's a couple with Dabu in there. I'm not sure. Just a lot of different varieties of channels that you all would really, really enjoy. Just, some of the conversations are just us shooting the shit. And, yes, I am a Christian. Yes, I do cuss every once in a while, but I try not to, really. It's just not my style. But yeah, I thought about going through those. Some of them are long, some of them are short. Yes, I miss James Munder too. Me and him really, really do click. We've been friends for years. Marfugal, no, I've actually never had Marfugal on my stream. I don't think he's come into the chats. I used to go over there all the time, but he started streaming at like different times, like 3 and 4 in the morning. And back when he started that, I wasn't awake, so I need to go visit him here real soon. I haven't talked to him in a while, so I'd actually like to call in on his podcast and just, catch up with him. He's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna go through them. There's quite a few lives, you guys. I used to go live all the time. We would have so much fun, and just the different topics and stuff we would go over. I would like to have a lot of the YouTubers that I speak with on my panel, just different ones. And Oh my gosh, you all, the discussions that we would have, it was just so much fun and a lot of information too. So, yeah, I'll go through those. It's going to take me a while because there's a lot of them. It's going to take me a while to go through them, but yeah, I might put up like one or two a week. How's that sound? Thanks, Tiffany Marie. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there was a point in time where, like, this is my main channel, right? And I don't upload all the time. I've been uploading for almost 4 years now, and I never would upload a whole lot. So my channel didn't really grow fast. Over the years, it's grown. Since I started uploading close to 4 years ago, it's taken off. But I never really was a YouTube channel to upload all the time. I would always feel led to upload when I felt like it. I don't always feel the best, so it it takes a toll on me. I usually don't show my camera. I don't put it on because I'm constantly having to stand up, pop my hips, my back, my shoulders, and you know, I have a little bit of ADHD, so I can't sit still very long. So that's why I don't have my camera on. Now, if I was outside walking, I think it'd be a little bit different, but like my hips are really bad, so it's hard for me to walk a long period. So that's why I don't keep my camera on. But, like you all really care to hear all that. But anyways, I'm going to start changing this channel around, getting back in my groove. I'm working on a few uploads as we speak. I've got one that's really good that I think you all will really, really enjoy. It actually has to do with Roseanne Barr. So, Roseanne, if you're watching, which you've commented before on my channel, so I'm not sure if you still watch, and you might not. That's what my channel's all about. It's about putting the truth out there. So it might actually just make you think, Roseanne. That's all I'm saying. Clary, don't need your cam on. Yeah, well, I think it kind of makes it a little bit more interesting and more interactive when the camera's on. But just for the new people that are coming in here, I wanted to explain why I don't have the camera on because I've never really actually explained it. Okay, Irby, I will let you know, sweetheart. There's certain things about Roseanne I do like, but you all might not like the video that I'm gonna put out. There's a lot of truth in this video, so very controversial, like I say. Sometimes I'll listen to streams, and if the camera is not on, I find myself going to sleep. And some people just like they've told me, "Well, I just like to listen to you speak. I like your voice." And I'm like, "Ew, I can't stand to hear myself talk." But I do feel bad what they did to Roseanne. Did you all hear when she was like number one back in the day? It was either ABC or NBC. They would used to get like when a show would go number one, they would get them like a Rolls Royce or something really, really expensive. Do you know what they sent Roseanne when she was number one? And I'm not talking about the newly revised Roseanne that was just number one. I'm talking like back in the day. They actually got her a huge, large chocolate cake that said, "Congratulations, number one." And she did an interview about it. And she was like, "I was so pissed off. They sent me a large chocolate cake versus a Rolls Royce. Are you kidding me?" Yeah, I think she is too. I think she's more outspoken. She definitely does not ever, she's never cared what anybody ever thinks about her. And she's definitely more outspoken now than she used to be, right? Well, she's always kind of been outspoken of her this morning and where she was singing the national anthem. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never realized it was that bad. I was pretty young when that came out, but I never realized how bad it actually was. Go listen to her rendition of the national anthem, especially when she kicks and spits. I'm like, oh my gosh. She was given so much trouble for that. Brent, you gained 5 pounds. Brent, is that a good thing, or is it just from listening to me talk about the cake? I don't know. I think the chat is froze. Serenity, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. Yeah, Christy, I have that too. Kat, if you do not get out, you're not allowed in here. Go, shoot, out. Okay, sorry. I actually seen a recent video of Roseanne. She uploaded one in April of this year versus today. She's lost a lot of weight. And I did hear that she was sick, but she is so small. Hey, Pyramid 7, good to see you. It's been a while, buddy. I don't know if you've seen, I was in Monty's stream. It was about a week ago, and I was looking for you, but you weren't in there. So I'm glad you showed up here, buddy. It's good to see you. She has lost a lot of weight. She's so tiny. But I saw where her son was actually uploading on her channel. So I didn't know her son was so outspoken. And he was like getting into it on Twitter with another journalist about re-uploading something about being in between the far left and far right, like a libertarian. I would love to go to Hawaii. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. And you know what my son told me? So he's 11. He told me it was yesterday or day before. He's like, Mom, when I get older, I'm going to move to the ocean. I'm like, no, you're not. Do you know that's like an 8 or 9 hour drive? I said, the ocean's like a vacation spot. We go there on vacation, right? Or we will be going there. I said, you don't want to move there because then it'll get old. You just think you want to live by the ocean. But you're not moving away from me while I'm still on this earth. Just saying. You can think about it all you want, but you're not moving to the ocean. Not while I'm alive. I mean, he's my baby. Not saying that the other one can move to the ocean either, but I'm still close to my mom, and I don't plan on moving far. I know I want to go so bad. I have a daughter that's 12. She tells you the same thing. Yeah, he's 11. He thinks he wants to go live by the ocean. It ain't happening. Ocean's vacation spot. I'm in Kentucky, Bright Horizon, not Texas. Why does everybody think I'm in Texas? No, not Tennessee, not Texas. It's Kentucky, people. So, all right. I'm going to, let's do this. There's some things I want to talk to, and I need somebody to kind of help the discussion. So, oh, Katrina, if you are in here, if not, I'm going to text you. I would like for you to join. Hold on just a second. I'm going to put this in the chat. No porning out this time, people. It's not cool. Not. I have a feeling of who that was, so if you're listening and you want to join, then I will make you validate who you are before I add you. Just saying. All right. So, I've just got a few things I want to talk to about someone else's opinion on it. Let me text Katrina here. Okay, who is that? Hello.
How's it going?
How's it going? How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks. Nice to meet you. I don't know what
Nice
your
to meet
channel's
you.
about. I don't know what your channel's about or anything. I just joined, saw the
Oh.
stream yard thing, and just clicked the link, man. So.
Oh, well, awesome. It's nice to meet you. What do I call you?
Tower One Power.
Tower One Power. So do you care if I just call you Tower? Is that okay?
Oh, I'd appreciate it, man. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, Tower.
Okay.
That's my name.
Okay. Have you been on YouTube long? Do you have a channel? Do you upload? I mean,
Yeah, I've got a channel, man. I've been on about since 2009. I've
awesome.
But you know the fucked up thing, I've got like I think almost 1 million views, yeah, but only 500 subs. So
Oh,
yeah, big,
really? Yeah,
yeah.
I had to get remonetized. I had to delete like 2 million views off my channel. So it's not cool when YouTube likes to censor you. And it looks like you've been censored with 1 million views and only 500 subs. And you've been uploading since how long? 2009?
No, I'll tell you what it was. It was just because the ones that got all the views, they were from. It was my own content, but it wasn't like related to me or the channel. It was just like filming things that happened, like events. Like there was like a
Uh-huh.
couple riots that happened in England a few years ago.
Oh, so you like to go to protests and stuff. Awesome.
No, 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 no. Well,
No?
back in the day when I was a kid, I went to a few protests as a kid. Well, not a teenager like
Mm-hmm.
17, 18, but as you get older, it's not that you don't care more, but you maybe don't have the time for it as much. You know what I'm saying?
I understand completely. I actually went to Washington, D.C. back in 2016 during the inauguration. And I seen quite a bit, let me tell you. A lot of the protests and stuff were going on, of course. That was back when the pink cats and stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar. You sound like you're from Australia. Are you an Aussie? Are you England?
Almost England, yeah, almost.
England. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to insult you or
That's
anything. I
all
just
right.
know
It's
it's not.
fine. It's fine.
I do love your accent, though. I do love it. It's very pretty. Not,
Thanks.
you know what I mean. I just like a different accent than what we're used to. But the protest that I went to, a lot of. I'm not sure if you even watched a lot of what was going on then when Trump was being inaugurated, but there was a lot of
I
the
remember
cops were pepper
the
spraying.
woman going no. I remember that woman.
Oh, really? I'm not sure. I'll have to look
You,
that up. But I will tell you this. Um, we would just be standing in the middle of the street, and all of the sudden, the cops would down, like they were getting ready to start charging, and they would count down, and then they would start going towards the protesters, and the protesters did not even provoke them whatsoever, and they would start pepper spraying, and I almost got pepper sprayed. Like, we brought masks and stuff. It was pretty scary, to be honest with you.
yeah, I know the police in America. They don't mess around, do they? They don't take no
No, they
prisoners.
don't, and it's actually gotten worse. I don't think it used to be this bad. So they've got more of a military component to them now, especially during the protests.
I've seen a
It was funny
video.
because,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay, I've seen a video from the 1980s of
Uh huh.
an American. I think it was. I can't remember the subject matter. It might have been something to do with like pro-life or pro-choice or something like that. But these people were doing a sit-down protest. I think it might have been in like Philadelphia or Boston or something like that, somewhere East Coast type, somewhere like that. And but there's videos of these police, and they had these like poles. I think they're like nunchucks or something, and they were
They're
breaking
called
people's arms.
batons. Yeah, batons.
But not the extendable batons that they have. They were like
Okay.
they had been brought in specially. They were like an adapted bar
Oh,
or something.
really?
But they were putting them like people had their arms behind their back like that, yeah, and
Uh huh.
they were getting them in between people's arms and dislocating people's fucking arms from their
Oh,
shoulders and
my
breaking people's arms.
Lord.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Wow.
brutal. It was horrible,
And
horrible.
that was where again?
It was
I'm sorry.
somewhere in the USA.
Huh.
Somewhere in, yeah.
Interesting.
You could probably, I think,
Wow.
if you literally YouTube like police break people's arms, it'll probably come straight up.
Okay. Well, I would, but
Oh
playing
no, no,
YouTube, other
I'm just
YouTube. Yeah,
saying,
I'll
yeah, yeah.
definitely look into it. It's getting worse and worse all the time. You've got a lot of these, groups, these white supremacy. Antifa is really bad, and it's getting worse and worse. And I don't know the outcome of it, but I was really scared for that protest that was happening October 17th in Dallas. And Dallas, Texas, where two different police officers actually ended up going into the homes of innocent Black Americans and shooting them. And that seemed to be the thing that was going on right before that Trump rally happened on October 17th. And I really thought Antifa would really show themselves at that rally. And I'm surprised nothing more happened at that rally. I was really, praying about, something to not go down because it just really seemed like that was part of the agenda that was actually something bad was going to happen, is what I felt. I felt it was really going to go down bad, but I don't think anything really happened bad that day. But as far as the supremacy groups and stuff like that, they're just really starting to, the closer to the election in 2020, the worse it's going to get. Most
So,
definitely RNC
so,
and DNC.
so there's a like obviously I've heard of everyone's heard of the KKK stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that, and I thought they were kind of dying out now. Like, but you're
I
saying
thought so as well.
there's a
Well,
resurgence
there's a
of
new
white
white
supremacy.
supremacy group. It's
Oh,
it's
God.
called it's called Antifa, is what it's called, and you'll definitely, if you haven't heard of it, you're going to want to look into them.
Aren't they?
They're,
Aren't
I
they?
wouldn't really call them like KKK.
Yeah, hang on. Is Antifa? Are those the people that call themselves anti-fascists? Are they those people?
They just call themselves. Yeah, that's the type of group that it is. Um, it, it, they're kind of hard to explain actually because it's almost like they say one thing but do another.
Yeah, they're a bit
And
of like rebels without a cause type people, aren't they?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely. And there is a group that was actually against them for the better, and yet this group, it was called the Good Boys Club or some Good Boys Group, and they were
Proud Boys.
actually Proud Boys. Yes, that's it. And they were actually going to be against Antifa, but yet they were targeted as like terrorist group, but not Antifa. It's very backwards how they're trying to portray these whole groups.
Oh yeah, the police and the government, for whatever reason that, whatever's behind it, conspiracy theories are abound, I'm sure, but you
Well,
could
yeah,
never.
people want to say conspiracy theory, but it's actually what's going on behind the scenes is a whole lot deeper than what people know. You know, I'd
Oh,
like to say red pilled, because that's exactly what you need to do is you need to take that red pill and wake up instead of take the blue pill and stay asleep. So
yeah.
most definitely. But yeah, my
So I know
channel's a mixture
what
of
side of the
a
camp you're on.
lot of different things. It's I don't know if you go back to my older videos, they're more controversial than anything. You have to really, I try to make it to where you don't have to really research it. I try to make it easy to explain and understand, but then it's going to make you want to research more, like as far as like say Illuminati and stuff like that, and
Oh
what's
God.
behind the Hollywood, their agenda
Illuminati,
and
that's
the.
like I did all the Illuminati stuff like 10 years ago, man. It's not
Oh
me.
yeah, but a lot of people are waking up now even to the fact and are not aware of, so that's what I try to help is people that are just waking up to all this stuff that yet we learned, 10 years ago. Um it's becoming more prevalent for people to wake up these days. You know what I'm saying? Versus
It's just so
when
easy
I
to
first
educate yourself
became
now, isn't
awake.
it? Yeah.
Do what?
It's just so much easier to become woke now because of
I think so.
the
Yeah.
availability of information and stuff on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just telling people where to start, I think is the hard thing because there's so many things that you can start researching and like for instance, just tell people to research the 9/11 aspect. Building 7, stuff like that. Some people still are not awake to that.
Do you know
And
what I thought about that? Like, the only way they will ever be able to sort of like definitively, prove both sides one way or the other, who's right or wrong, is if they literally had built a replica of the World Trade Complex
Right?
and had a plane go and see what happens. That, and obviously that will never happen. But as far as I can see it, that's literally the only way, because you listen to both sides of the arguments from clever
Uh-huh.
people, and they both give very convincing arguments. Do you know what I mean? And me, it's like,
Oh yeah, most definitely. And there's so different many types of scenarios that could have happened, but we're not sure what. At ground zero, they've got the water still flowing because supposedly the metal that was burnt is actually still burning, supposedly, and that's why they have that continuously running the water because they say that it's still the molten metal is still burning.
shit.
And that's what I've heard. So, I mean, of course I can't prove that. But the whole thing about the plane going into the building the way that it hit, just like you said, a replica would have to be done because a normal plane would not squash like that. You
Well,
know what
this
I'm
is the thing.
saying?
I don't know if we know. Can we? I know where you're coming from because it's so surreal. It looks mad. And let me tell you where I stand. I think at the very minimum, there was obviously foul play at work on that day, and I think personally, at the very minimum, people within the U.S. government, some people at least had forewarning about that. Someone
Most
knew that was going
definitely.
to happen. So, and that's like the minimum of culpability that America, the government, is responsible for. And obviously, at the very worst,
Well, get
like,
this.
yeah,
Did you know that 1 or 2 days before it happened, that Bush actually had bin Laden's parents in the White House?
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's like totally proven, documented. Like no one can deny that as well.
Well, 5, 10 minutes after it happened, Bush was in the limousine saying it was Al Qaeda. So,
But the
I
thing
mean,
is like
how can you say that
a
without
lot of
definitive?
bad things get said as well. Because I remember, I mean, I don't know how old you were at the time, but I think I was like 9 or 10
I
or
believe I
11 or
was
something.
18.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I think I was like 10, 11 or something like that. And you remember back then, do you remember the chain text messages?
The what?
Like text message, like chain mail, but on text message. Remember that kind of, it was a thing. You might have been like, if you were 30 at the time,
Not 30.
but
I
you're
was
aware of
18.
like the concept of like
Yes,
sorry,
yes. I actually worked at a cell phone company when that happened.
right, right. Well, I remember over here, like there were messages going around saying, oh yeah, like an hour before it happened, like all the Jewish people walked out the building. You know what I mean? And like, I very much doubt that was true. I think it's been proven. Multiple Jewish people did die there. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you've got to. There's a lot of misinformation that goes on with this. Do you know what I mean? But
A lot
obviously,
of people did lose their lives that day.
oh yeah,
A
man.
lot of people were actually also told not to go to work that day. It was kind of like some people were warned and some people weren't.
Well, they need to look into that more. I mean, like,
Oh, most definitely. I agree. I agree. And a lot of people that have actually, for instance, Bill Cooper. Supposedly, Bill Cooper, I don't know if you know who he is. He's not with us anymore.
is he a
But
comedian or something?
no, he's
Oh, something of Bill
he
Hicks.
was a whistleblower,
Right.
actually. Bill Cooper, look into him. He actually forewarned about 9/11 before it happened. And he was actually what's the word? Kind of like a bait and switch type deal where the police were called to his house and he was barricaded and shot to death. But he told
Right.
a lot of truth and forewarned people before it happened. He wrote the book called A Pale Horse. Behold a Pale Horse.
Okay.
Bill Cooper.
A pale horse.
Behold a Pale Horse. He wrote that book.
Okay.
So
What does that mean? Is that sort of a play on like Trojan horse?
kind of like a prophecy. It talks about the pale horse of Revelation in the
Okay.
Bible. So behold
Okay.
a pale horse. So basically, he was the type of person to get inside information and tell people about it, and they basically wanted to shut him up.
I'm sure I've heard before that there's like a few lines in, I don't know, is it like Revelations or Genesis or something that some people have interpreted that did predict 9/11, or is it maybe not the Bible, maybe it's Nostradamus or something? But I'm sure I've heard it said that in some piece of literature somewhere that this
You
was
know,
predicted.
I'm not sure. It might be Nostradamus.
Yeah, maybe.
Nostradamus did predict a whole lot of stuff that has happened and then that supposedly hasn't happened yet. And I'm glad you brought that up because Nostradamus, I haven't looked into his prophecies in a long time, and it'd be interesting to actually look in. But I did hear that some of his writings were compared to what happened on 9/11 because he would use parables. A lot of what's used in the Bible,
Yeah,
parables to
yeah.
explain things, and a lot of it come to fruition what he stated. And there was some of his writings, yes, were compared to 9/11. And it's like, who would have thought, who would have thought to think 9/11 by something Nostradamus said, right? But there's a
Right,
lot of
because
truth
how
with,
could he even
right,
conceptualize such an event from the time he was before planes and all of this? So he could only speak about it in his own sort of almost poetic language, right?
exactly,
But do you
exactly.
know what? For me, the biggest unsolved question about 9/11, I know you'll know about this. You know about the fucking the Israelis with the truck on the bridge and all that.
The
And
dancing ones,
yeah, they're all celebrating with like a
they were celebrating. Yeah. How did they
with
know?
Palestinian flags. But I swear,
Uh-huh.
and then but weren't they the police actually when they're arrested? They said actually they're or even though they were waving Palestinian flags, they're actually found to be Israeli nationals.
Yeah, supposedly they were not involved whatsoever. So
They're
they were let
bullshit.
go, though, right? They were arrested and then
Yeah,
let
I'll
go.
tell you what. There's a
Yeah,
more. It's more likely that the Israeli intelligence services had something to do with that, than the US type
most
thing. I'm not
definitely.
saying the US didn't, but if the US is innocent,
Well,
then it's a
they're all in bed together. They're all in bed together. It's just one big show. You talk about New World Order. Well, that's exactly what it is.
mm,
A lot of people aren't aware of this, but United Nations have a whole lot of play in what goes on. All the world leaders go to the United Nations and speak for a reason. And the United Nations actually own the United States. There was a document I found several years ago, back before I knew it even had a channel. Um, and if I would have been able to save it and knew how to save it, I probably would have. But I've looked and looked and looked for this article, and it actually stated that the United States is a corporation owned by the United Nations. Cannot find it now for anything. And I've looked and looked until I gave up on even looking. And I don't want to speak untruth out there, but
yeah.
I know what I read. And if people just look into it, it's like, wow. Thanks, Brian Cole. I appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate that. I actually didn't even know I had
How
that
many
turned on.
how many people are watching the YouTube right now? Because obviously I'm
um,
not on YouTube.
actually, I can't see how many are watching right now. My StreamYard is not working correctly. My
How
chat's
many
going in
subs
and
have you
out. It's
got?
froze. Around 14,000, a little over
Oh shit!
14,000.
Oh damn! So there might be loads of people watching me, man. Damn! Oh god.
Yeah. How many in the chat on the YouTube chat? I've got both at because my StreamYard chat's froze, but I've got my YouTube chat on my dual screen here. If you could tell me 32, they say 32 people are watching right now.
Oh, that's all
Um,
right.
it's the time of the day to where not a lot of people are watching. Everybody's getting off work. Kids are coming home. Actually, I have to mute real quick because my son just got home. I didn't even plan on streaming this long. So if you could just hold on just a second, I'll be right back, hon.
Everyone, feel free to subscribe to my channel, man. Feel free. I'm feeling like this conversation is probably we're going to raise the anti-Semitism issue soon. It's got to be brought up, hasn't it? Because I'm not racist to the Jews. But the thing is, you know, they have their own word. It's like obviously it's bad to be racist, but if you're called an anti-Semite, it's somehow that's like even worse than being racist, and that's sort of a little. They've sort of ring fenced themselves. Do you know what I mean? So you can't even criticize you can't even criticize the nation of Israel without being labelled as an anti-Semite, and it's got to be a little bit problematic, hasn't it? Also, do you guys think this might be fucking, you know, something to worry about, man? This fucking lump, got this like weird lump here, man. It's like it's not good. My mum is medically trained though, and she said it's like it's not cancer or anything, so she's not gonna lie to me, right?
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back.
Oh yeah. I was just like talking away to your viewers.
You're fine. You're fine. So yeah, I actually uploaded a video that I'd done a couple years ago on 9/11, and it's called 9/11 Truth. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know how familiar you are with my channel. I don't think you are very familiar because you just came in here, but it's actually a pretty good video if you look into it. I started out by one of the people that actually installed, not actually installed, but spoke about installing explosives 6 months prior into the elevator shafts on 9/11.
Right,
Because
yeah.
as you know, they went down like a controlled demolition, such as Building 7, which was not hit by a plane, by the way.
Yeah. It
And
definitely looked like a controlled demolition. Like, yeah, definitely. That's how it looked to everyone. Yeah. Hello? Hello? I can't hear you, man. Go. What's going on, man? Can't hear you. Come on, man.